I'm going to go over with you the midterm exam. So the first thing you want to do is go into the modules and scroll down to week 10, the interim module, and that's where you'll find the exam. All of my courses do the exact same kind of exam. The content's slightly different based on the course, but the format is the same. So although I'm using Hume 101 as my model, the same is true for 102, 201, and 202. So go ahead and click on the exam. Now the exam has been open since the beginning of the course. So hopefully you've had a chance to take a look at it. If not, you want to go and look over it. You're going to see that the exam is a take-home essay test. There's only one question, and that question is addressing this reflection in 1,500 words. All right. You have about a week to do it, right? So you have all of week 10 to work on it. It's due at the end of week 10, that Friday at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. It is a test, and as you note from the beginning of the course, tests and quizzes are not eligible for late work, so you must submit this exam by the end of week 10. I strongly suggest that you take a look at it early in the week, do some brainstorming, and then consider how you're going to tackle the challenge of accomplishing the exam. So it's 1,500 words. It works out to be around 5 to 7 pages, double space. And the goal of the exam is to reteach to me information that you learned from one of the modules. So the prompt goes like this. Review the goals and objectives of the course. Investigate what you have learned and what you were supposed to have learned. Generate and evaluate evidence. Establish a position on the course topics in a concise manner. As a guideline, address each of these questions, and each answer should be about a page in length, except for the last one. That one's going to be a little bit longer. Be sure to include transition sentences between each page, create a seamless essay. Also ensure that you have a strong thesis statement and a strong conclusion. All right, so there are 4 major areas that you want to address in the exam. You want to make sure you do a good amount of information on each one because that is how you'll lose points if you kind of gloss over one of the sections. You'll note that these sections should look kind of familiar. They are based on the same kinds of content that I expect you to do for the journals, and that was by design. So each module you do one of those journals, which is this kind of like reflective and analysis of art and artifacts, and the goal is for you to practice kind of that reflection and that critical analysis. They'll prepare you for the exam. All right, so we're going to go over each of the sections. The first one is analysis. And so in this one, you want to review module 1 or module 2. Please make sure you only choose one of the modules. It's too much information. It'll get too muddy if you try to do 2 modules. So just choose 1 or 2. And you want to summarize and explain the big idea and the main theme. Then you move into description. And this one, you're going to consider all the activities, the lectures, the discussions, all the things that we do in class in order for you to learn the information. I'd like you to do is describe these activities, either choose a handful, like 3 or 4, and do so in great detail, or briefly go over all of the activities for the module. That's up to you if you want to choose depth over breadth. So you want to think about how did these learning exercises help you understand the material? What did each lesson teach? Then you're going to evaluate those lessons and consider the positive and negative aspects of the unit. What do you think went well? What did not? Focus on your opinions, but support these with proof, information, and examples. Unsupported opinions are not accepted. So you can't just tell me I like this or I like that. I need to know the why. A useful trick that I often go over in class is playing this game called the 5 whys. And what that means is, okay, so you answer this question. I think this thing went well. Then you ask yourself, why? Then you answer that. Why did it go well? Then you think about it for a moment and you ask again, why? Why do you think the way you think? And you continue to play this why and why and why until you drill down until a really solid, supported opinion. That's going to lead you to the last section, the section that I want you to spend the most time considering. And that is, I want you to interpret the theme. So why was this theme and its topics included in this course? What is the purpose of the unit? What is the meaning, right? Purpose and meaning are the crux of what interpretation is all about. To help you through this, you might want to take a look at the module overview documents, right? So in the module overview documents, you'll see that I've outlined a lot of the information that you're going to need in order to address the midterm question, right? So right off the bat in the module overview document, I always give you a brief introduction about the module and what we're going to be covering. I give you these essential questions. These are the key ideas that all the information I've amassed from either the textbook, my lectures, or all the website materials are meant to be used to answer those essential questions. I give you the main topics. These are the main ideas that you're supposed to take away from the module. And by the end of the module, you should have mastered these ideas. And then I provide you all these required studies, the textbook reading, and all of these links, which are meant to cover these topics and answer these questions. Then you do these activities to help test that you know this information. So you can look back at your journal entries, your discussion questions, and your quizzes to see how you did and what you took away. Then the last thing is, at the bottom, I've always include a graphic organizer. Now there's a different one per each class, right? So this is the graphic organizer used for 101. And that graphic organizer is meant to help you organize your thoughts, to help put all of your thoughts in a coherent and concise way. We usually do this for a journal, but you can do this for any of the course content. Now, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, in every module document, I reiterate the thesis. If you go back to the very beginning of the course, you'll remember I said that the way I design my courses are as if I was doing an argument to write like an argumentative essay or to do something like a debate. My thinking here is that I have a premise. I have a premise that I believe based on my research and my years of study. And that premise is then supported by all my evidence. And my goal is to prove to you this reasoning or this premise and then use my lessons to support it. So in a lot of ways, I've already organized how you could attack the essay, right? So you want to take a look at that thesis statement. You'll see I've even organized it like a proper thesis statement. And then all of this information in the module is meant to support and create evidence for that thesis statement. I highly recommend that you go through and look at the thesis statement, look at all these module documents that I provide you, and take a look at how I try to make my case about my premise and proving that my premise is true. Then when you go to write your essay, you're going to want to take a look at my thesis and determine whether or not you agree or disagree with it. You want to take a hard stance on this. You want to make sure that you truly believe what you're saying. It's okay to disagree with me. It's okay to agree with me. I love both. You're going to take my thesis and you're going to reframe it in your own way and re-explain to me in your words and your ideas what you think the theme is. Now be careful here. You do not want to plagiarize what I've written. You want to write this in your own terms. Then you want to look at my evidence, right? That's all the lessons I've created, and determine whether which ones worked and which ones help support the thesis or which ones don't work and don't support the thesis. Then you want to place an opinion and support that opinion. Take a hard stance. And finally, your interpretation is going to back up everything you're saying here. Now you want to make sure you meet the word count. In fact, if it was me, I would probably exceed the word count. I would struggle to write a full analysis in only 300 words, a full description only 300 words, a full evaluation only 300 words. Certainly, I would have a hard time writing 600-word interpretation. I could write pages and pages on this. So I would expect that you would probably also need more room to do it. But bare minimum, you want to achieve those minimum word counts. That is the only way you'll be able to get a C. Anything less than the word counts automatically drops you down to a D or an F, depending on how few words you write. And then it's all about quality. The quality of your case and the quality of the information you provide makes a difference between a C and a B and a B and an A. It is a big assignment. It will take you probably multiple drafts. Another mistake that often happens is students will just write it, submit it without reading it out loud or taking it to the tutoring center to get proofread or to proofread it yourself or have a peer look at it or a parent or a friend overlook it. You really want to make sure you present a solid essay. You're going to likely need to cite things from the text and from the websites that I provide. That would be the only citations that you'll need to use. If you want to go to outside resources, you can, but that really isn't the purpose of this assignment. The purpose of this assignment is to prove to me what you've learned in the module. And my final thought for you is that make sure you're proving to me what you've learned. That's a very specific question. I'm not asking if you learned something. My expectation is that you did. If you didn't learn something, that's on you. And you want to make sure that you really go back and look over the material to make sure you have mastered the content. I will be evaluating you based on how well you can reteach me this information. So in a lot of ways, we've flipped roles for this assignment. In this assignment, you have become the instructor and I am the student. I am trying to learn from you. So take some time, look over this. I'm always happy to address questions. I'm unable to do a review of the documents before the submission date, and that's just simply because I have too many students. But I highly, highly recommend that you take advantage of the tutoring center and have them look over this before you submit. All right, I look forward to reading these. This is the only thing you're required to work on during week 10. There's no other requirements for that week. So take your time, review it, brainstorm, outline, and then put together a really solid, polished piece of writing. All right, good luck. And as always, if you got questions, please reach out.